How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with a big old bomber of a beer. Yeah, a little bit of Netherlands-based love from my boy Remy over at Beer Geek Holland. This be the Bruery and Frontal. I should say it's Frontal. Frontal. There we go. Frontal Brewery and the Bruery from California. This is I've got friends in the music business. Imperial Mexican Stout coming in at 13%. Yeah, he sent this off on a box from over there in the Netherlands. And yeah, it's about the third or fourth beer I'm diving into from that box he sent over. You can go watch the unboxing. Awesome stuff in there. Never heard of that Frontal Brewery before. I've heard of the brewery and had a ton of their beers previously. Yeah. That's all you get as far as info goes. 13%. Imperial Mexican Stout. So what does that mean? Oh, label-wise, it's awesome. Look at that thing. I'm a sucker for gold and black, man. It is what it is. Anyway, let's say, yeah, beautiful. And as far as that looks, yeah, looks like a stout. It's not motor oil, but it's there. Now, Mexican, you're talking about, I'd assume it's like the Chocoveza kind of thing. A little bit of chili, a little bit of vanilla maybe, a bit of chocolate, a little bit of cinnamon thrown in there. We'll see what's what. It looks like it's an adjunct stout. Just the way it kind of, the head settles down. Has that kind of coffee-looking colored head. It's very subtle. I mean, it's 13% beer, but it's very subtle. You get all what you'd expect from a Mexican stout in there. There's definitely some chilies in there because I'm actually getting a little bit of burning sensation in my nostrils. Not necessarily smelling green. I'm just getting a heat up there. But there's a little bit of soft kind of like, it's not even like cinnamon. It's something a little bit lighter than that, but a little bit of cinnamon vibes. And then there's a soft lactose thing kind of going on. It could be vanilla, but everything's very minimal. Nothing too heavy-handed. You're talking about a 13% stout with a bunch of adjuncts in it. You think it would be a little bit more vibrant. It's not, though. Is there a date on here? Can I get a little time on this sucker? No. Remy, how old is this sucker? Let me know. So I might have a little bit of time on it. We'll see what's what. Or you guys can look it up because it's probably on the internet. I assume it's a one-off. Let's just actually dive in. Cheers. It's got to have time on it. There's no way this beer is fresh. There's no way. It has to have time on it. Because I'm getting that metallic thing. Not necessarily indicative of time. Metallic astringency thing, but I'm getting oxidation on it. Not necessarily a negative oxidation, but it's there. Plus, I'm getting a sweetness that comes from some kind of added component. I believe it's vanilla. I'm getting a little bit of pepper, but it's nothing too crazy. But there's a little green vegetable on top of that little heat. So it has to be there, but I think it's died down a bit over time. There's a ghost of some kind of spice. I assume it's something cinnamon, but it's more like a what's that one tree bark that people use? It's from, I believe it's from South America. It's a wood, and it kind of comes off like cinnamon to me. That's kind of the way this comes off, but in a more muted way, and there's a nice rich chocolate to it. There's no heat to this beer whatsoever, both from a pepper standpoint and from an actual boozy standpoint. It actually drinks pretty easy. I like it. There's a soft tinge, the ever so slightest tinge of a little bit of sour curdled milk kind of characteristic to it. I think that's a little bit of the beer, all the adjuncts in a bit of time doing its thing. But it's not a negative. It actually adds a little bit of depth to the beer. I really do like it. I think it's fun. I think it's about one of the more kind of chuggable versions of a 13% Imperial Stout I've had in quite some time. I just really would like this beer fresh. Now, if it is fresh, let's say less than 8 months for the sake of conversation, that's a unique beer. I'd be curious to see how they brewed it in the process, but I'm guessing, just based off tasting this, it's probably closer to 2 years old more than anything else. And while I think it's a fun beer where it sits now, I could imagine as being a much, much funner beer closer to when it was actually born. Even some of these Mexican stouts, I do like them to sit a little bit, but more like 6 months, not the amount of age I'm assuming this one has on it. So it's fun. It's tasty. I dig it. Well made. It's just, I think it's a little bit past the prime. If it's not, then the beer was just made kind of weirdly. But I still enjoy it. That's the thing. But here's the kicker. Let's get to the chase. Is it one of the better kind of adjunct-based stouts I've had as late? It's not in, it's not out. It's kind of floating somewhere in between. I like it. It's tasty. It's fun. I'm going to drink the whole thing because I kind of want to see how it opens up while it warms up. Not that it's overtly cold at the moment. But I just think time has done it a little dirty as opposed to what it was fresh. Value and availability, no idea. Remy, let me know what's what. And leave you with, if you like what, will you like this beer? If you like these Mexican-based stouts, even at its age, if I can find this for a decent price, I wouldn't mind picking it up again. But if you like this Mexican-based stouts more on the subtle side, if we're assuming this is more fresh than I think it is, you want a little bit more subtlety than in your face, this will do you. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Go check Remy out. Beer Geek Holland on the YouTubes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.